For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast. With 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in the games meeting combined, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links will be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist. We watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, or comment below. I endeavour to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. Now, for those you watching the video version, you don't need to adjust your camera, your screen. There is no dirt on your screen. It is just my very ill attempt of a mustache. It is November, which does mean Movember, which means Mo facial hair. And as you know, Max, my luck with facial hair has never been that good. It's still not that good now. But there was a time where I couldn't do beards or facial hairs. And as of the last couple of years, I guess I hit puberty at 32, which is rad. I've been able to sort of do something. So this year I was like, well, for work at the Man Shake, it makes sense for me to do some Movember-y things. So I'm trying to do the full handlebar.
Mo Man, Mo Shake.
The Mo Man, yeah, Mo Man, Mo Man. So I've been able to get the moustache. That's coming together. This is much better than it ever has been, by the way. But I've never attempted to do the extra. And as you can see,
it sounds like all you need to do is like
kiss.
drink some like chocolate Man Shake and just not drink it out of like the sippy cup provided, and just like gulp it out and just have like a Man Shake mustache.
I might fill the gap in with Man Shake, because look, if I do this, you can kind of see where it should be, but there's at the ends of my mustache, it does want to join my chin.
Do you want to know how I got these gaps in my handlebars?
Yeah, Man Shake. But yeah, no, I'm trying to grow the mustache for reasons, just because I can. Oh, if you want to support me, you can. Movember, whatever. But yeah, it's hideous, and it's 6 days in.
Mine was so hideous it looked like I came straight out of a 60s porno, and I went, maybe not.
Oh, so Max sends me a message of their moustache after the shave of the beard, and it was an impeccable mustache. It was your Burt Reynolds, like your legend. Because as you might be able to see it in mine as well. Like I have quite dark hair, but I do have recessive Ranger genes, and it does tend to come through in my beard. So there is a lot of hints of orange and lighter brown going on in this bad boy, where you had a full Burt Reynolds of orangey goodness.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was lovely. It's a shame.
And my wife saw me and she's like, I will never leave the house with you again.
Yeah, it has been, knowing that I look like this, it's been hard. Yeah. But yeah. How you been?
Not too bad.
Yeah. Much to report?
Not really. It's been pretty chill. Not much has happened lately. I'm just, waiting for everything to happen. Lots happening this month, Stuff on the house is finally getting fixed. I'm finally getting some landscaping done. We're doing this, we're doing that. But other than that, not much has really been happening. Had a lot of people at my house on the weekend. That was fun and uncomfortable.
And as you can tell, Max has his I'm trying to keep myself quiet voice, because he's got a child that has not been the most fun. And then you've got a young baby.
They're both been as terrible as each other today. Yeah. So if there's random screaming in the background, please just ignore it.
It's exactly what you think it is, yeah.
It's exactly what you think it is. But yeah, no, not really. I haven't not much to report this week. It was a quiet week all around, I feel. What about you? Oh, well, 'cause I mean, I did have lots of plans planned for the weekend. Like, I was supposed to go out Friday night. I was supposed to go out Saturday night, but unfortunately, my kids are just like absolute shitheads sometimes, and I couldn't go out anywhere. So yeah, my weekend kind of fizzled. How was yours?
Mine was good. It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
So I'll be that guy. It is my birthday today. Thank you very much. Yes, shout out to
Me
parents.
look at me making you record a video on your birthday.
Yeah, shout out to my parents.
Nothing-
Actually, no, my parents didn't technically bang in February because I was meant to be born in late November, like December. So shout out to my parents banging in March and then me being born early. Yeah, so I'm 34 today. Cool, get excited. So over the weekend we did have a little shindig, little drinks at my place, which was lovely. Max was meant to attend, but his child's got in the way. Yeah, and it was lovely. So it was just something small. Just it was. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, MGB. Thank you, Marcy. Yeah, so I was one of those things where my partner Phoebe, she was like, we should do something for your birthday. It's a long weekend. I'm like, meh. And that was like 2 months ago. And then I kind of forgot. And it was like last week where she goes, did you do anything for your birthday? I'm like, no. She goes, fuck. So her and my housemate make an event on Facebook. Like, all right, everyone's got like 5 days notice, I guess. So it was impressive that those that came did, including my mate Sprouty. So one of my longest friends, one of my longest friends, so made a lovely surprise trip up. So he lives in Traralgon, which is Moe to be exact, so 2.5 hours away from here in Geelong. And then he made the very kind and loving trip to come up, hang out for a couple of hours, and then drive back. It was lovely. It was a really, really nice surprise.
Did it make me feel bad for not driving 10 minutes down the street?
That was unintentional, but yes, you should feel bad. Because I hadn't, so due to COVID and just our lives, I haven't seen him in 6 years. And like, this is my mate since like early high school. He was the best man at my wedding. Like, he's like one of my dearest friends. And it's one of those things where I gave him an invite because I was like, you know what? It's unlikely he'd be able to come, but that's fine. I'll send him an invite just to let him know I'm thinking about him, you know? And sure enough, motherfucker showed up. So I'm very, very grateful. It was very lovely. But yeah, other than that, week's been pretty chill. Just working. Yeah, no, think much really went down. Because my brain knows it's Monday. I'm not thinking about last week anymore. Because in my head I spoke about last week yesterday, but we didn't. So that's all right.
What have you been playing then?
Oh, so all right. So Max and I are in this incredible position. We have a pool of awesome games we could be playing right now that we've been very kindly given codes for. I played House Flipper all week. Literally.
I bounced between 2 games this week. I've been playing more FC24.
Yeah.
Still fucking awesome. I've just been playing local friendlies because this week I've had to pause a lot. Get up and do shit. And the other game that has managed to suck me back in, I'm back on the Diablo 4 grind. Season 2 has been fantastic.
What have they done?
Everything I hated about Season 1 has been fixed. They've made it. You can level from 1 to 100 40% quicker than you could. They've like jacked up all the XP. They've increased the density of mobs in all the dungeons. They've given you an actual end game grind to go for. The new seasonal content is fantastic. The new event is great. The new vampiric powers are awesome. Sorcerers actually deal damage again, which is fantastic. It's just been real fun. It's been my go-to game lately. So yeah, all I've been playing is soccer and Diablo.
See, I can understand that because, like, for me, I think we're in the same space. Like, we've come off a bunch of really good games, really intense games. Obviously, like Spider-Man, Alan Wake for me. You've hit a bunch of story games as of late too. I finished Immortals of Avium. Like, I've been able to hit a couple credits, and I have dipped my toes in some other games. I'll touch upon them shortly. But essentially, there was a sale on over the week, and I was just going through it, seeing what there was, and there was, a bunch of DLC for House Flipper for sale. And I was like, oh shit, like, what do we got? And like, there's one that adds gardens, there's one that adds like fancy pants buildings, or there's one that adds like pets, and there's one that adds farming. So it's kind of like, oh shit, this you're kind of hitting some of my beats here. It feels like Sims and all the Sims expansions. So what I essentially did, I was like, I'll re-download it. So with my partner, with Phoebe being an architect, like I thought I could have the fun of flipping the place, building it up and doing all the monotonous tasks to make my brain happy, and then I could pass her the controller and she'd be like, oh, I'll make the house pretty, because it's what she likes to do. And so I've done all that. So I've done all the missions for those DLCs. I didn't get the pets DLC, and I didn't get the farming DLC. The farming DLC wasn't on sale. Pets didn't interest me a whole lot, but now that I've done it and I've played it all, I might go back. But that was the idea, is I'll do all the missions so then we can just go and fuck with the empty houses. Because I think this week I just sort of needed like just that palate cleanser, I guess. Yeah, it's just sort of like, all right, let's flush all these story stuff out. Let's get into some gameplay, just repetition heavy funsies. And I did that. That's
what Diablo and FC has been for me this week.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think we're on the same page there, which is awesome. The other thing I did check out this week is to me, House Flipper is so good. Also, Henry played 5 hours of Spyro on Saturday. Damn, man, it's so cool when your son or your child starts to start getting into games. I think you'll be there soon, Max, and it's good fun to be able to share it.
Hopefully, Bluey will be the first.
Oh man, that Bluey game comes out mighty soon too, eh?
Yeah.
So the other games that I have been checking out is thank you very kindly to EA Australia, who have been like just loading us up, so much so that we have like a code for WRC just sitting in my inbox that we haven't played. Because I'm like, shit, because like we've got FC, we've got what I have been playing, which is UFC, and I was like, there's only so many C's that I can have on my dashboard at any given time. But yeah, playing a ton of UFC this week. So Max, you played it last week, haven't touched it since.
I haven't had a chance to go back.
So there were some criticisms that Max brought up last week, being like, oh, there was no tutorial, there's nowhere to go. There is, but you have to go into the career. So
was it built into the career path, yes. Or is it like you do like a fight school before you go?
It's built into the career.
Okay, that's cool. You can tell that I didn't open the career. I did an online career, did a few matches, and did some just local.
Yeah, so the first match is like you win pretty easy, just strike him in the face enough times and you get the win, and then it goes, cool, I'm glad you punched him out really hard. Now learn takedowns. All right, cool. Now learn submissions. So
cool. Okay.
So that teaches you all the idiosyncrasies, all the little minutiae that lets you go for high hooks and what breaks a block and how to like psych him out and target a specific limb, etc. Which is really cool. So I made myself, or as close as I could to myself. It just looks like a caveman version of me. And then I just punched a bunch of people in the face really hard. Like similar to yourself, I don't really have the blocking I'm getting better at, and I don't really get it. I built my character in such a way that I don't get taken down because I can't be bothered with all the submission, flicking the stick over here and button. I just want to punch people. So I set it up in a way that I have good sort of, takedown defense. I can just start laying into people if they get too close to my midsection. Sort of spect it in such a way. And that part's really kind of fun. So from the way it sets up is, you get your contract and that fight's in, say, 4 weeks. Now, you can either jump straight into the match and you'll be able to keep a larger amount of the pool, of the wallet for the match. But if you can stagger it up to 4 weeks. So in that time, you can hype them. You can use essentially little weekly tasks within the game that are like, oh, well, I want to promote the match. I want to do some training. I want to do this. I want to study my opponent. So you do all these sort of things to build up your knowledge and put you in a better position at that final show. So if you were further along in your UFC career and your hypes, people are really excited for your matches, your fitness is already pretty good, you're not really going to need to invest in that prep time as much. Or if it's someone you've beaten before, you don't need to study them because you already know them. So you have the benefit of jumping straight to the match. But I'm having a bit of fun trying to balance that out. It's a light RPG elements in terms of how you're going to allocate some things. So what will make you stronger. And it is very... MTV does mention you got to be careful not to injure your trainers. Well, and you also not injure yourself, because although you're training, part of that training is sparring, and you may injure yourself in training if you go too hard, and then you'll lose time heading into the match to recover from that injury, or some of your money, or some of the weekly stat points or whatever, if you have to spend them on the injury rather than actively progressing. It's very fun. And even down to like the little the different shoulder buttons relating to different kinds of maneuvers, so you can really switch between like a headshot to a body shot to a knee, and you can kind of get really good sequences going if you suss out the buttons. It's very, very similar to games I love like Cook Serve Delicious, where it's all about remembering cool button combos. The same process here of UFC. It's really fun. So it's fun to enjoy. But if you put the time in to master it, woof, be awesome. Pardon me. And you didn't check out anything else, did you, there, Max?
No.
Yeah. So I did also dive into I dived into a couple of things. I spent some time with Star Wars Jedi Survivor yesterday, with the idea of when I went to install Alan Wake 2, because I did pick that up this week.
I'm sorry, what?
Alan Wake 2. I bought Alan Wake 2.
When?
Yesterday.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it. It's sitting installed on my computer. I just haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
Now that it's on console, maybe I'll.
It's on the PopC, so you can play it.
Maybe not.
Shout out to our Patreon people, by the way, because essentially use our Patreon money to pay for that. So I went to install it on the console, and it's like, oh, you don't have enough room. I'm like, what the fuck, you don't mean I have enough room? So I had looked through, and there's like, what are some things that are taking up a lot of space? And one of them was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And I was like, shit, I think I'm pretty close to the end of that. I might boot that back up. So, it's had a lot of patches and support since then. Another EA game. Holy shit, we have an EA run, aren't we? So booted up Survivor, jump back in. I've completely forgotten how to play it. In terms of the timing, the combos, the sequences, I have fucking no idea what's going on. I'm still enjoying it. But it's the second my brain triggers that I'm doing it just to get to the end, I kind of just start getting frustrated with the game. Did it with Sea of Stars?
Because every single little roadblock is like, why are you stopping me from completing you?
Yeah, like you're frustrating me. I just want to rip through this. Did it with Immortals of Avium, even though I enjoyed it. I just wanted it done. Sea of Stars, same thing. Really enjoyed it. Just wanted it done. And I guess with Survivor, it's the same thing. And I could just delete it off the console and not see the credits on it. And there's nothing telling me that I have to see the credits on it. But I don't know, part of me wants to. I don't think I finished a lot of games this year. So I kind of want to at least get a couple more off before the end of the year. Yeah. I did also dick about in the Metal Gear Solid Collection 2. Played Metal Gear Solid 1. It's confusing because the control scheme is that of the Japanese version. So circle is accept and cross and is cancel. And it's fucked me up numerous times already. But it's straight up just the PS1 version emulated onto your TV. It's very disappointing. Yeah. Like it's after seeing the in-engine video footage of Snake Eater, it makes me go, why the fuck are they not doing Metal Gear Solid 1? That's the one that needs the most love, the most work. It's insane. But that's about it, and that's all I played this week. So let's get to the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
Well, new month, new monthly games. Let's talk about the November essentials.
It is fucking so warm in this room.
Yeah, I've had the air conditioner on all fucking day.
I've run out of water, and I only have so much, and we have so much show left. I'm gonna be parched.
All right, the November essentials for this month. We're getting Mafia 2 Definitive Edition PS4, Aliens Fireteam Elite PS5, PS4, and Dragon Ball The Breakers PS5, PS4. Those will be available to download as of the 7th of November.
These are the breaks. The Mafia 2 was fun. I liked Mafia 1 better.
Mafia 2 was good.
Because I remember Mafia 2 had like the open world sort of stuff. I remember it felt very empty and like not as fulfilling. Where Mafia 1 Definitive Edition, which I think has also been on PlayStation Plus previously, I felt, which is because it was super linear, I felt that it was like really, the story felt cohesive, every moment seemed important, and I had a lot of fun with it. Aliens Fireteam Elite, yeah, not in my game. Dragon Ball The Breakers, though. Now, I remember, Max, you were keen for this game.
Oh, I was keen for this
got a
game,
code.
and Bandai Namco provided us a code, and
then you went, can I get my money back? Can I give the code back?
Chaboy was disappointed. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's one of those asynchronous good versus evil multiplayer games where it's trying to rest on the laurels of its IP, and the IP isn't strong enough to get through the subpar gameplay of the game, which is a real shame. Because some of them have been real hit and miss. Because obviously there's been, you know, Dead by Daylight. There's the Dragon Ball one. There's the Friday the 13th. There was there was a Ghostbusters one. There was the Predator one.
Oh, the asymmetrical games. Yes.
Yeah, like they've all tried to do different things. But Dead by Daylight has such a stranglehold on that genre, nothing seems to be able to dethrone it. Like, I had fun with Friday the 13th, but it had its problems. But it was one of those things where I wasn't having fun with the game, I was having fun with the people I was playing the game with. Like, it's just, you know, any game can be fun if you make it fun with the people you're playing with, but unfortunately this didn't hit the beat for me.
Yeah, it's a bum. So, clearly not the best month in PlayStation Plus. That's a bum. Alright, let's move to the next section. New peripherals, Max. Sony has announced its new lineup of audio devices for the PS5, the Pulse Explore wireless earbuds and the Pulse Elite wireless headset, and they will both be releasing in the coming months. The earbuds, which are said to launch on the 6th of December of this year, and the headset shall follow a couple months later on the 21st of February. Now, previously, we were aware of these items. However, we weren't aware of any potential release date. Thank you very much. So, Phoebe has just replaced my water because she's rad, and I'm going to sip it and honor what she has done. God, that's good water. So, currently, there are no pre-order dates in Australia for these devices, and as we talked about before, the earbuds will be costing £199.99 or the same in the US, while the headset itself will be coming at £129 and $149.99 US dollary dues.
These interest you?
No, earbuds, no. Mostly because earbuds.
Have you seen the crazy pattern for the controller with the earbud dock where you can slide the earbud into the controller and charge them?
Okay, admittedly, that is tempting. But the problem that I had with earbuds is I used to use earbuds in high school, and then I don't know, and then as I got older, I just couldn't do it anymore. So like even going to the gym or even big over the ear bastards like this are what sing to me. They're the ones I love.
I'm the same. I prefer those, but I use earbuds at work because I'm not technically allowed to use headphones. So I can get away with putting wireless earbuds in my ear because no one will notice, but I can't walk around with big honking. You know. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, but the fact you can tolerate that, I would just wear headphones. You know what I mean? Like, I would just be like, oh, whatever, and just wear headphones, or be really obnoxious and play my speaker really loud because I'm by myself, right? So those earbuds don't interest me. Like, even so, back in the day on the PS3, I did have like their little wireless headset for a while, and it was pretty arsehole. But these look to be pretty fancy. I believe both these headphones are using that lossless compression, whatever tech from that company that they bought recently, Audi's headphones, and so like the Pulse Elite is probably more interesting to me. Like I do have the original Pulse headphones that did launch with the PS5, and they're fine. But I remember the old PS3, they had the gold headset and the Pulse Elite headset. That's the one that I had. I remember shipping it from eBay from the US, and that thing fucked. I used that until the day they literally broke. They were incredible. So if they're in any space like that I'm interested. But as I have an Atmos set up in my lounge room, I don't ever use headphones unless I'm playing online with my son. Both, therefore, are not of interest to me. But I wish they were, because new peripherals are fun. But because even for yourself, Max,
I'm in the same boat. I bought a new headset last year.
Yeah, you got the Astro Fancy Pantses.
I got the Arctic.
That's right.
Nova, Pro Wireless, and I was like, they're great.
But yeah, it's
one of those things where,
alongside the PlayStation Portal and what we're seeing with the new Slim, and PlayStation are really sort of doubling down in that boutiqueness of their brand, right? They're like, these aren't entry-level sort of devices. These are higher range peripherals, sort of once again coinciding with this idea that PlayStation is the elite brand. They are the Apple of consoles, and I think they're really trying to sort of double down on that aesthetic and that sort of feel as a company, where like Microsoft is being more sold as the everyman's gaming service. So how do you think
the blue collar console?
Yeah, how do you think they'll go? Because PlayStation,
look, I've only used a handful of like PlayStation branded headsets, and none of them have fit over my ear correctly, and they've just been uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's never been an issue with the audio quality is fine for the price range that they're in. They just haven't been comfortable enough for me, and because I only game with a headset on, I can't sit there for a prolonged period of time wearing something that's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat. There's a reason, like every headset that I tend to own, they have the 50mm drivers, right? A, they make a better bass response. And two, they can fit over your entire ear without sitting on your ear, crushing the bottom of it, anything. And it's great. Which, when you wear glasses, you don't want any pressure on your ears. Pardon me, because then it pushes into your glasses. Now, I'm not sure what size drivers like the Elite has. And I guess the wireless earbuds would defeat that ear pressure issue. Look, PlayStation Australia.
I mean, not necessarily, because you would then theoretically have like an inner ear pressure.
Yeah.
For having
So PlayStation Australia, if you're interested, we would love to review them. We'll dick about with them and send them back. Because I'd love to fuck with them, just simply to see what they're like. Because for some that is a great alternate, and we have tens of listeners, and they might too want to grab these things, and we can help them think about it. Tens, Max, tens.
So this is the question that's been on everyone's mind for like the last 6 months. Acquisitions are bad, right? So Sony has just announced it has entered into an agreement to acquire UK-based company iSize, which specializes, quote, in deep learning for video delivery. iSize builds AI-powered solutions to deliver bitrate savings and quality improvements for the media and entertainment industry, the firm explains. The cost of the buy hasn't been revealed due to a contractual commitment. The acquisition is designed to provide Sony with, quote, significant expertise in applying machine learning to video processing, which will benefit a range of our R&D efforts, as well as video and streaming services. PS Plus Premium currently provides the option to stream PlayStation 3 titles, and recently members of the top tier gained the ability to stream PlayStation 5 titles. It seems this purchase will aid Sony's efforts in this field. An SIE blog post says, quote, founded in 2016 and based in London, iSize has a team of talented engineers and technical experts who have developed a suite of software solutions to optimize video. For example, the company built an AI-based perceptual pre-processing solution that allows conventional third-party encoders to produce higher quality video at a significantly lower bitrate. End quote. So I think they essentially picked these people up to help compress their streaming capabilities, and hopefully that will allow them to bring their streaming services to more locations, because you won't need as high a connection, because it will be a lower bit rate stream.
Yeah.
In theory.
So the argument of like, actually, so one of the things that came out of the Activision purchase, right, was that Sony needs to respond. Is this a response? No, it is.
I mean, to a degree, but...
Okay, the response here, the response is that we play differently. And that the response here is we acquire what we are missing, but in a different way. Like, we aren't buying just to be the biggest guy. We're doing this to make a genuine better service. By acquiring this company, it's there to... Once again, if we looked at what they've done, right? You know, they've got some of the acquisitions that they've had. Yes, they've bought some studios like Insomniac, Bungie, but then they've bought the likes of Nixxes, a studio purely brought in to assist them in their porting capabilities. Then you've got... What was one of the guys that do mobile stuff, whose name is Savage. Savage? I'm going to say Savage. You know, you bring them in to look at their mobile space. They bring in Bungie, let them behave autonomously, but use them for their knowledge, which might blow them in the butt, into looking at the games of a service space. So they are much more business focused, in business improvement, which are supporting what they have been doing previously, rather than just buying everything under the sun to claim that it's yours.
Yep.
So I think it's a response in, this is how we do our business. We don't do the shit that you do. We don't need to be the biggest dick in the room, because we are the biggest dick in the room. But I do certainly hope that the use of this company would assist in the sort of the ability to bring services like PlayStation Now to Australia, so we can actually get the full benefits of our PlayStation Deluxe or Premium. I want to play them back and play PS3 games. Fucking A.
Sure.
Speaking of PS3 games, The Last of Us. But not the PS3 version talking TV. So HBO has announced this week, Max, that Season 2 of The Last of Us will enter production in early 2024, after the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes delayed work on the project. As Variety notes, the second season doesn't appear on HBO's slate presentation for next year, so Joel and Ellie aren't expected to actually return to TV screens until at least 2025. Set to tell at least some of the story featured in the PS4 exclusive The Last of Us Part 2, the second season will introduce the likes of Abby, Yara, and Lev. Season 2 was mapped out, and the script of the first episode has been written prior to the industry strikes, leaving creators Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin to wait until the actors become available once more. Earlier this year, Druckmann explained it'll take more than one TV season to tell the whole story featured in the sequel, and some of the Season 2's most exciting elements are the changes being made. Some of the stuff I'm most excited for, in Part 2, are the changes we've discussed and seeing the story come to life again in this other version. And I think it's exciting because it leans into those feelings you had for the game really heavily in a new way. What does that mean to you, Max?
It means that I have to fucking wait another year to watch more Last of Us.
Yeah, that part's ballsack.
That's what that means to me. I agree wholeheartedly it is too much story for one season of television.
Very true.
Knowing that HBO series are generally shorter than a standard television series. So good, don't rush it. Bring it out before 2025, please. I know the strikes have been shit for everyone. The production companies should just stop being shitheads and just fucking pay people what they're worth. And actually go to the table and negotiate in good faith and not be dickheads about it. But, we'll cross that bridge when we eventually get there. It is a shame that it's going to take so long, but hopefully that will mean that it's going to be of just as high quality as Season 1 is. And I can't wait to rewatch Season 1 in preparation for Season 2, because it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Very much. I bought the Blu-ray and I'm still yet to watch it, because I want to see it in its full uncompressed glory.
Without random floating heads and bits
Without
of
behind the scenes stuff. That was one of the best parts of doing that. Big thank you to Team HBO again
it
for
was
letting us enjoy that.
such a cool experience.
So look, for me, the way I sort of see this, I'm thinking about it. How are they going to tell this? If they're essentially saying it's going to take more than a season, so I'm thinking 2 seasons. I'd imagine the first half of this season is Ellie, the second half is Abby. It ends when they meet in the theater, and then we experience the rest of the game. So no longer are those 2 stories going, because the storytelling of Last of Us Part 2 is all interesting. Where if they can kind of go Ellie, Abby, there's your meeting point, then tell that story, I think it will alleviate a lot of the problems people had with the original, or with the game, but also really leave it in a place to make it intense. Without spoilers, of course. MGB, I've got the 4K. Yes, I've got the 4K Steelbook. Yeah, it's good. Does that align with how you see it going, Max? Or you sort of...
Yeah, I think so. I think I think that would be the way to play it. Although I wouldn't be adverse to doing. I don't think Netflix did it well with the likes of The Witcher, where they were telling multiple timelines in the same episode. But I feel that it can be done well, and I wouldn't mind seeing them attempt it.
Well, I guess they kind of did that with the likes of like the Frank story in episode 3. Yeah. That was kind of going back and then coming forward. But it's not 2 stories interwoven at the same time. It is essentially a flashback episode. So I do certainly believe that Druckmann and Mason and the team can make it happen. Like if there's anything that we have seen with season 1 is that they can make it better somehow.
Yeah.
Which has me excited.
Yeah. Well, now that we've covered the TV division of Last of Us, let's talk video games.
Good video.
Yeah. So we have been expecting Naughty Dog to officially pull the plug on the Last of Us online multiplayer project, but apparently it does still have a small team dedicated to the idea. The project's game director, who previously hadn't tweeted since the end of August, has provided a small update. As part of a couple of posts about Super Mario Wonder, Vineet Agrawal teased, "Yes, I'm still working on that game." The game director had previously been super enthusiastic about the project, describing it as one of the Californian developers' quote, "biggest efforts ever," and a dream. But earlier in the year, reports emerged that the development had been scaled back after fellow first-party studio Bungie had questioned whether the release would keep players engaged. We'll get to more on Bungie's knowledge on whether or not they can keep players engaged or not. It is unclear how many people are working on the game right now and what kind of launch timeline it's aiming to follow. In October, it was suggested the project is, quote, basically on ice, but it sounds like the team remains committed to it. Of course, it's all just speculation until Naughty Dog actually comes out and publicly clarifies the situation in either case. Is she dead in the water?
It's interesting.
Will this ever see the light of day?
Okay.
Is it something that has now been too long and has missed its mark?
No, I think the expectations on it now are higher than they ever were. People were excited, but now they're excited and expecting. Especially off the idea that these comments were made about this game, and it's not this and it's not that, and then. Now
sorry, you said expecting, and then instantly what popped into my head was what to expect when you're expecting to expect.
Yeah. But that expectation, because if it comes out and it isn't sticky, or any sort of mild criticism could be, Bungie were right. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's that same level of confirmation bias that people had when they heard the fake leaks about what Last of Us Part 2 is. They went, the game's this, it's woke, it's bullshit, it's blah, blah, blah. And you play it, and it ain't that. Like, half those shit that they said in those leaks were straight up false. But people already made a decision. And people have already made a decision here too. Pardon me. And it can go the other way. So depending on what level of being a hater you want to be, if you hate Naughty Dog, whatever they release, you can go, Bungie was right. But if you're a Bungie hater, like I am with CD Projekt Red, if this comes out and it's good, I can go, yeah, of course Bungie was shit. They always have been shit. Spoilers. They aren't the company that you thought they were. Exact same sentences that I said to CD Projekt Red. So it's a tough one to be in. Something that was brought up in a different podcast I thought was interesting consideration is it's very likely that the game that they have made is good. It's great. But because Naughty Dog have such an expectation, again, to deliver 9s and 10s, is it a circumstance of this multiplayer game is only an 8 out of 10? And we can't release an 8. Especially off the back of the success of the show, plus expectations, this can't be anything better, anything less than perfect. And seeing as we've seen the level of perfection and the desire for wanting something to be better, even to the benefit of no one. Like, we didn't need The Last of Us Part 1, but they did it because they wanted to. So it's one of those things, and they wanted to make it better. They wanted to make it awesome and look fantastic and play fantastic. And that could be the same thing here, right? They could go, well, we're not comfortable with releasing it if we're not confident it's going to be a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any consideration to that?
Maybe. I think it would be weighted slightly differently, knowing that it's something out of their general wheelhouse, being a multiplayer title as opposed to that.
Yeah, however, like Last of Us has multiplayer that people still play religiously. Uncharted 4 had a pretty good multiplayer as well.
True. I suppose, yeah. Fair enough.
Well, it depends on, because if they build a multiplayer game, it could be great. Can they build a game as a service? We don't know.
I guess the difference with that is they were single player games that have multiplayer modes. This is a multiplayer game. There's no
backup.
There is no solo gameplay to skew the score in their favor. It's just
very
multiplayer.
True.
Because if you're reviewing Last of Us Part 1, the majority of your score is coming from the single player experience.
It's true. No, that's very accurate. That's a good. Yeah, that buffer zone's sort of gone.
Yeah. There's no safety net anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of a safety net, it'll be really nice being employed. In an article that Max is entitled Bungie Bungle, new reporting suggests this week's layoffs at Bungie, the now Sony-owned developer behind Destiny 2, have been impacted around 100 staff members, or roughly 8% of the studio's headcount. Bloomberg reports that executives at Bungie told employees 2 weeks ago that Destiny 2 was running some 45% below revenue projections for the year, following a disappointing reception to the expansion Lightfall. Lightfall, which was released in March, has had a lot of difficulty in maintaining player count since that release. Excuse me, that's a stumble over words because of hiccups. Excuse me. Dozens of employees woke up to ominous 15-minute meetings scheduled for Monday morning, where they learned their position was affected. Things got exceptionally dodgy when you consider the timing of the layoffs. As reported by Paul Tassi of Forbes and corroborated by Bloomberg, employees who were let go will receive 3 months of severance, and Bungie paid Cobra health insurance. Other benefits, however, would only last until the end of the month. So, yesterday, as in this announcement happened on the 1st of November, everyone was notified on the 30th.
Yeah.
So you've got until the end of the month. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Boo earns. Yeah. So furthermore, some employees were entitled to unvested shares, which were put aside until a specific requirement had been met. In this case, staying with Bungie for a set number of years. So this is part of that retention bonus as part of the acquisition. According to one of Tassi's sources, quote, "Their shares revert to Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening now to many of those affected," end quote. Whether it's a result of the layoffs or not, whether it's a result of the layoffs or not isn't clear. But it's now widely suggested that Destiny's 2 next DLC, The Final Shape, has been delayed out of its confirmed February 2024 release date window to June, while Marathon has been internally pushed back to 2025. The Final Shape was getting a good but not great response during internal testing, so this delay is designed to give the team more time to improve the expansion. Now, Max, as our in-house Destiny player, Bungie person, what's your stance on this from Bungie as a studio, which I know you're a fan of, then alongside Destiny as a whole?
So, upon hearing this news, I went back to the PlayStation blog where they announced the keeping of when they announced the merger or the buyout of Bungie. And one of the things that the team over at Bungie mentioned was like, hey, this will allow us to go on a hiring spree. We're going to make everything awesome. Things are going to be great. This was literally about, I think it was just over a year ago now. And they're cutting 8% of their studio.
Yeah, so my question is, where's the money?
Now, a lot of these people were... not that this makes it any better, but a lot of these people were community content people. There was a few sound design people. They weren't all like game developers. There were a lot of the social side of the runnings of the This Week in Destiny, This Week at Bungie, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I guess those things would be closing up coming into the final DLC, but that DLC ain't out yet. So from a retention standpoint, if they've got no one on socials pushing the game, where is the hook? Where's the intention for people to come back? And Reverend Puck in the chat mentions, I was going to say this too, one of the guys that was fired or let go was the award-winning musician that kind of had made some of the signature musical sounds to Destiny.
So I wonder if it's the case of the music has now been finished for the Final Shape and they no longer need him. Again, not that makes it acceptable, but is that the reason why? They've always said that Destiny has been a 10-year plan. Well, this is it. This next year is their 10th year. What are they doing after that? They're not doing a Destiny 3. Do they need someone to make music for Destiny anymore if it's completed? Like... It's one of those things of we don't know how far through the development whole the Final Shape is. Where are they going with it? Granted, this is one of those things where they need to really undersell and over-deliver for the Final Shape after the crap storm that was Lightfall. And like I mentioned to one of my friends, Noodle, who I played Destiny with since day one. It's one of those things of I've been playing this game for 9 years now, and as kind of shitty as I am with how it's turned out, I've committed 9 years to this motherfucker. I'm probably going to buy the last one to see how it ends. Like, at the moment, a lot of people are cancelling their pre-orders and showing their solidarity, which, great. Hit them where it hurts, essentially, show them with your wallet. But at the same time, it's one of those things.
At the same time, that's what's got them all fired.
You've been playing it for 9 years. You're probably going to see it through. It is disappointing, especially on the back end of them getting purchased by Sony. Like, what have they spent all that money on in the previous year that has affected 100 staff members to lose their jobs? Sure, and I would love to know what, because obviously they've stated that they're 45% below their revenue projections. What failed them this year? Is it a lack of pre-orders for the upcoming game? Are they not selling as many microtransactions on the Eververse? Like, they upped the price of individual a la carte expansions this year by essentially increasing the silver cost for a single DLC. So you had to spend more money to buy silver, to buy the DLC. So people are spending more to get them. Like, what has failed this year that stopped them from making that revenue? Is it poor um is it poor pre-orders knowing that Lightfall was a bit of a disappointment? Because I'm one of those players at the moment where I come back for the big DLCs and I very rarely touch the seasonal content because I just don't care about it. It furthers the story a little bit, but it ultimately just plays out for a 3-minute cutscene at the end of the season, which I can just watch at a later date. So, my retention has been lacking lately as well because the grind's just not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah.
They need to release like a Taken King style or level of expansion for the final shape, and they really need to, they owe it to not only themselves and their player base, but this story has been 10 years in the making. Don't fucking drop the ball in year 10.
Yeah, and I think that plays a big part of it as well, is that we are 9 years into a 10-year cycle, so retention is difficult because the buy-in is really hard. No one can really come in from scratch now, so you're only supporting your longest-term players, and they're getting less and less every DLC, which makes it harder. Yes, you increase the prices, so for people that were already kind of on the out, they're like, oh, maybe I might drop off. Once that price went up, they went, yeah, I'm not coming back. So it's not about, oh, you increase the prices, you should be making more money. It's you increase the prices, and that may have been the crux. As I said, there are people that have spent 9 years on this. There are some that,
for sure.
But there are also some that are just willing to drop it at the same time.
Yeah,
right. It's like and they're just happy to kick it because they're done. Yeah. They're that level of. I don't think stickiness is the right word to sort of rip on previous statements around Bungie. I don't think stickiness is the problem here. Because 10 years is a long time for anyone to be sticky to anything. Because yes, there are people that play Call of Duty every year and they have the last 15 years, but it's different because it's a different game every time. Yes, the core is very similar, but there's always just enough change to make it feel different. With Destiny, they do still have to keep a relative similar thread.
I guess the other thing with Destiny is it's gotten so large now that every time they introduce new content, old content disappears from the game. So things I've paid for that I could play a few years ago have just gone now.
Yes.
And it's So
makes it hard.
It's one of those things. I'm rooting for them. Like I really hope they come out and just smash it out of the park. I really do. Like I would hate for them to spend 10 years on something that ultimately fizzles right at the end. But yeah, it's always a shame when that many people lose their jobs over something like this.
Yeah, look, it would be nice for them to be able to end on something strong rather than like a whimper, and that's certainly true. But it is that idea of like, yeah, if you can finish it up at all, that's impressive. If you happen to go out on a win, even better. But yeah, I am the same as you. I hope it comes out okay. And I know one of the things people like, was Sony swindled with the value of Bungie? I don't think so. I think they paid they may have paid more than they should have, and that's part of any acquisition.
Yeah.
I do wonder where all these retention bonuses are, if they're not with the people that should be retained. Where's all that money going? Like, it feels really shifty. And also knowing, at least from what has been reported, that none of these pressures came from PlayStation. These were internal
it was a
decisions.
Bungie
So it's not as if PlayStation coming in are fucking with Bungie. If anything, PlayStation have brought Bungie in and have given them everything. They've put them in a position where they are oddly considered more of more value, of more importance than the studios that they have built internally. So it's an interesting thing. Reverend Park, if Lightfall was under 46%, why does their CEO still have a job? It's a very good point. I guarantee there's a lot of eyes on that individual. And they may not lose their job, but it's not going to go well for them.
Well, he did mention that. I'm pretty sure this happened after the firings. He did mention that the people they kept are the people that are going to make Destiny great, which I think was a really bold statement to make after you've just gotten rid of 100 staff members. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds over the next year for them.
Yeah, no, this is their moment. They've got to really change their narrative here. There's a lot of things at play.
Quick bits. Fortnite's back, Ryan.
It never left.
Not that Fortnite ever left, but Fortnite is back with Chapter 4, Season of the OG. They've gone back to the first original Fortnite map, and in doing so, 44.7 million players in a single day all returned to playing OG Fortnite, totaling, what was it? 102 million hours of play in a single day.
Jesus. Did you go back?
No, I haven't. I was too busy playing Diablo. Lies of P DLC and a sequel has been confirmed by the developers.
Oh, that's exciting.
Stoked. Because, spoilers for anyone who hasn't finished it, there is an MCU style...
Apparently there's a very cool ending.
Yeah, there's an MCU style teaser mid-credit scene.
The Pinocchio initiative.
Yeah. Another exciting one for spoiler. The quick bits are all for me.
Well, then I'm going to sneak one that I'm excited for.
The first Remnant 2 DLC titled The Awakened King comes out next week. With a whole new area, a slew of new bosses, and a new class. I'm super stoked. And that's about it. It's about it for Max's quick bits.
Well, in Ryan's quick bits, rumors this week has been that there is Final Fantasy. That's not my news at all. God of War Ragnarok DLC scheduled to be announced at, say, the Game Awards. It's looking to be kind of a Miles Morales, infamous First Light kind of DLC that sort of expands on the world while also sort of doing so. I'm fucking in. Now, I'm in a circumstance where you could give me anything and I'll give it a bill. And I'm very aware that it won't change, impact, or destroy my love for this franchise already. So give me more of it? Sure, why not? Do I need it? Not really. But will I have it? Yes, I will have it. And I'll play it something fucking fierce. All right, here are the games that are coming up in the next week. You get Football Manager 2024 Console Edition out today. The Invincible, that's November 6th, by the way. The Invincible, PS5, November 6th. Kill It With Fire VR, PS5, November 7th. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, PS5, PS4, November 7th. Spell Force Conquest of PS5, November 7th. Gunhead, PS5, November 9th. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, PS5, PS4, November 9th. Tales of Arise, Beyond the Dawn, PS5, PS4, also November 9th. While the Iron's Hot, PS5, PS4, also November 9th. Air Twister, following the previous very successful Titty Twister, PS5, PS4, November 10th. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, with its whopping 4 out of 10 for the campaign over on IGN, PS5, PS4, November 10th. Don't worry about it, because Max has already pre-ordered it, because he's a sucker.
Max wants to play zombies, and that's all he's going to do.
Yeah, so is the open world zombies essentially just like DBZ, but...
Yeah, apparently it's DMZ with zombies, like it's an extraction-style zombies, which is the only reason why I pre-ordered it.
That's fucking cool.
If it sucks, I'll take a bet.
Yeah, I did laugh when you're like, hey, I've already pre-ordered my, you piece of shit. You caved instantly.
I'm never one of those people that's like, I'm not going to get it this year because I know every fucking year I'll get it. Like, it's just, it is the one game I buy a year on a yearly basis.
I come really close. You know how close I came to getting Modern Warfare 2 last year? It's bad.
It's the point where, like, I said to Ali, my wife, I'm like, hey, I need to go into EB. She's like, is it Call of Duty time? I'm like, it's Call of Duty time.
Yeah, I laugh, but like I'm not gonna lie. I will be obviously very tempted. Yeah. I might even borrow it from you if you're like, yeah, it's fine. And if the campaign's 4 hours, 3 hours and shit, I'll play that.
You might not be able to play the campaign because you don't own Modern Warfare 2. You don't have a disc to put in.
That is so dumb.
I think that's been fixed, to be fair.
You know what the fun part is? So we have in the past, like, I've made very clear points that, like, anything that releases, you know, like Starfield isn't technically a Microsoft game because it was made and released when they weren't purchased. Modern Warfare 3 was made and made during the time that the purchase didn't happen, but because it released and it was a 4 out of 10, it's a Microsoft first-party problem issue now. Done. There you go. I've changed my stance for purely of the benefit of the console wars. So this is the future of what you're to expect when it comes to Microsoft now owning Activision. This is the future. I'm playing.
Oh, BlizzCon happened this weekend.
Oh yeah, cool. Everyone get excited.
They announced fucking 3 World of Warcraft expansions in one go.
Yeah.
They announced an expansion for Diablo 4 coming at the back end of next year with an entirely new character that's never been in a Diablo game before. And I think
back end of next year. Oh yeah. It's like a year and a half from its original release. That's crazy. Crazy.
I'm still waiting for bloody Elden Ring DLC.
That's a good point.
Although apparently, I should have put this in the quick bits. Apparently, FromSoft have gone on a massive hiring spree and they're making like 5 titles or something like that.
Ew.
So excited.
Yeah, not really.
Sign me up.
Nah, I'm good. Anyways, well, thank you very much for joining me and Max joining us on this beautiful,
this bizarre fucking Monday night.
This bizarre Monday night recording. It does feel weird because it's also
like
knowing that I don't.
Friday, but a Monday.
Yeah, but knowing that I don't have work tomorrow as well, which is even easy, which is even weirder.
Yeah, Rob. Oh, dude, I was so upset when I got to work last night. It was way busier than I anticipated. I'd in my mind, I'd hyped myself up that I wasn't going to be busy till like Thursday.
Mm.
And then they just fucking destroyed me.
Yeah, well,
at least
tonight should be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully a lot of people took today off.
Yeah. But yeah, beautiful. Max, send them home.
Cool. All right, everybody. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning on podcast services at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. Except for today's episode, that'll come up whenever. If you would like to take part in a future conversation with us, come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/PopCulturists. We can watch record the show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, or comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/PopCulturists, as well as our merchandise store, PopCulturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.